Welcome to Household Wizardry, where we make things out of stuff we have laying around the house. Today we're working on our artistic skills and our mechanical skills. We're making a Super Mario Cam toy where the characters will jump up and down when you turn the crank. For the Super Mario Cam toy, you're going to need several tools and materials. You're going to need cutting tools like scissors, utility knife, and X-Acto knife, a hot glue gun, pencil, ruler, paintbrushes, printer, Microsoft Publisher, optional, a cutting mat, and what's not on here is a compass. The materials you'll need are cardboard, hot glue, school glue, paint, markers, or another way to decorate, cardstock or cereal box, dowel rod, small, wooden bamboo skewers, and a plastic straw. First thing you want to do is make a plan. So I have a plan here of a box that I'm going to make with some hills, a piranha plant. I placed where I want Mario and Luigi to be. I have letters for Toad, Bowser, and Peach where they're going to be. And I kind of figured out and hashed out what the dimensions were going to be for the project. This is just a rough plan, but it's something to guide you through the process of making this cam toy. Here's the sizes of the pieces you're going to need to cut out of cardboard. 6 by 12, 6 by 5 times 2, 8.5 by 12, 5 by 12, and a 1.5 by 12 times 3. You can pick whatever sizes you want for your project. These are just the sizes that I have for mine. Once you've come up with your plan, go ahead and start cutting out your pieces. Now you're going to glue your sides to your back at a perpendicular angle. And you're going to want to glue them to the outside of the back. Now to do this, you can use a third piece of cardboard to use as a right angle to guide you, because it'd be kind of difficult to make sure if it's going exactly perpendicular to the other piece. So glue that together with hot glue. These three pieces are going to be your scenery bars. They're going to go at the top of your box, and from behind them your characters are going to pop out. So you can paint these however you want. I'm obviously doing a Mario theme. You can do an underwater theme, or you can do whatever kind of theme you want. So now's the time to paint these pieces before we're going to install them into the frame. Go online and get some images from the internet of your characters, Mario Brothers or otherwise. Go into Publisher if you have it. In Publisher, you can resize your images to make them proportional to each other, or make them however big or small you want them. Once you printed them out, you can either glue them onto a cereal box and cut them out, or you can print them out on cardstock, or what I did was I printed them out on regular printer paper, and then I glued some school glue onto some cardstock, 2 sheets of it, then spread it out with a brush, Then I put all of them sandwiched together so that it was a good thickness that wouldn't bend. Now it's time to cut out your characters with an X-Acto knife. Be as careful as you possibly can with those intricate little details. You might need to go behind the character and cut that out from behind to help yourself out to get that popped out without ripping anything. Now you'll have your little characters. Here are my characters ready for action. So now is a good time to explain what a cam is. It's the basis of what we're going to attempt to do here with the Mario Brothers. So you have a frame here with a skewer through the middle, and the shape that's in the middle of the skewer is this egg shape. Then you have resting on top of it this rectangular piece is called a follower. It rests on top of the egg. Now, when we rotate the skewer, it turns the rotational force, or motion I should say, into vertical motion. So when the egg point is at the top, Luigi goes up. When the egg is at the bottom, Luigi goes down. So this is what we're going to be doing with the rest of the characters. In rows, we are going to need to have them close to each other depth-wise. We're going to have them like in different areas, but we're going to have multiple cams and multiple followers, multiple characters, and hopefully they can work together, and we'll have up and down motion with our characters. The next step is to put your top on. I'm putting it in the frame recessed about 1/2 inch and hot glue that in. Now my plans call for a large hill in the front and then a dip down. We're gonna leave the front part for later because we're gonna need to get it into the frame to make the cams. So I'm gonna decorate the front piece and attach that at the end. The next part will be to add your dividers. As you can see, I made a specialized divider for the second row of dividers with a little hill on it. I'm going to go ahead and decorate that before I put it on. But you can also put on your other dividers. Like I said, you're going to need to make them rather close together because the farther apart they are, the bigger the cam will need to be, and we do have limited space in here. We have a 5x6 area. Also, the bigger and more offset the cam is, the higher the character is going to go. So if you have, like I'm going to have a big hill here, and I want Luigi to pop out of it. So I'm going to need to make sure I have a cam big enough for him to pop up over the hill. I'm hoping to have Mario next to him, and Mario is coming out of at an area that has a slighter hill, so I want him to not go up so high. So I'm going to make the cam a little bit more circular or smaller so that he has less of a vertical jump. So go ahead and attach your scenery dividers, and we'll go to the next step. Now it's a good idea to mark on your sections where you want your characters to come out, and then you're going to use a compass. It wasn't on the supply list, but you're going to use the pointy end of a compass to make a hole where you want your character to come up and down at. After that, you can measure on your sides where the hole will be for that. And my contraption here is a foot long, so the skewers will not reach the whole way. You're going to need to get your dowel rod and cut off a section of your dowel rod so that it's long enough to go all the way across your cam toy. Another note about character placement, you're going to want to make sure there are not any characters in line with each other, and by that I mean depth-wise, so that the cams, there's a cam for each character and a place in the bottom for each cam for each character. Now, if you want them to both move at the same time, you can do that and have like maybe one large follower for the cam, and both of them will come up and down at the same time. Or you can have individual cams for each individual character. So with your holes punched and your dowel rod in, it should look like this. You're going to want to leave a little bit extra dowel rod on the one side that you're going to have your crank on, and a little bit on this side out. What we're ultimately going to do, and don't do this yet because you need to take the dowel rod out to put the cams on, but we're going to put a little cap at the end so it doesn't slip and slide. And the next step would be to make your cams, and like I said, they need to be egg-shaped. The more exaggerated the egg shape, the higher the character is going to go. So just keep that in mind when you're making your cams, and we'll go to the next step after that. Another note on cams, they have to be small enough to fit in the box. So my box is 5x6, so my cams have to fit within a 5x5, or actually more like a 4.5 by 4.5 inch square. So I'm going to measure on this cardboard some squares, 4.5 by 4.5 inch squares, and then I'm going to draw my cams inside them and cut them out. Now, a note on finding the center of your squares. All you have to do is make an X from opposite sides of the square, and like that. That will get your center. From there you can put your compass in the center and make the circle however big or whatever you want. Once you make your circle, you can exaggerate it by making an egg shape, and you need to stay within the boundaries of that square, remember. I also found it helpful to write the name of the character on the square I am cutting out, so I just can remember that mentally. Now you have your various shapes, you can cut them out. I varied my shapes by making them different lengths and stuff. So this one's more of an oblong for the piranha plant. I actually decided to do the same cam for Peach and Bowser, so that I didn't have to do two for that. Mario has a smaller jump, Luigi has a larger jump, and with Toad, I made this odd shape where it's like a semicircle and then it drops, and then it's a circle and then it comes up and drops. So we'll see how that works out. Once you have your shapes cut out, you're going to use your skewer to make the holes a little bigger so that the dowel rod can fit through. Now you can put your skewers through the top of the frame and then mark on the dowel rod when it's in position where the skewers would land on the dowel rod in a depth sense. So just mark on there, and then once you're done with that, you can take it out and take it out, put your cams on, and then glue them into position. Once that's all glued onto the dowel rod, you'll have this. And now it's time to put the followers on. So we're going to put the skewers back in, and then once they're in, hot glue the skewers into the followers while it's inside there in the appropriate positions. So once you have all your cams and followers in place, the followers should be resting on top of the cams. One step that you could do that I didn't do because of time constraints is to make bumpers on the bottoms of your followers so that they are more likely to stay straight instead of going side to side. Just something to think about if you have a little extra time. The bumpers I'm talking about would just be like little strips of cardboard that you would put on to make like a track for the cams to follow. Optional, but might work better. Now you can try to turn your cams and watch the followers go up and down, like so. Next, we will add our characters onto the skewers and cut off the extra parts. Here I have it with the front piece not on yet. So I have all my characters glued on and the sticks cut. We'll see how it works. So a little bit less exciting than I expected. I could probably use some bumpers like right here for Mario, and I could probably space them out a little bit better and maybe make the cams a little bit, design them a little bit better. I'm going to put the front piece on and it's going to look kind of cool, I think.